In the last section we saw how to use if then else if statement. We also saw how to do the file test operators. In this section, and we also found out that we had a problem in the previous program where we gave two files and tried to find out what are the properties of those two files. Unfortunately, our program couldn't identify or know about the second file, and therefore, what it did was it only took the first parameter and it actually dropped the second argument that was given, and of course, the program worked correctly for the first argument that you had given. What we will do in this section is we will try to go into the concept of loop control, whereby we will be able to find out the characteristics of all the files that are given as arguments. Now, the first loop control mechanism we are going to look at is the for loop, okay, and the construct that we are going to look at is for in do construct, which is used essentially to repeat a group of commands once for each item in the provided list. Say for example, in our previous case it could be the argument list that we are giving. So, the syntax for this loop control is like this: you have to type for followed by whatever variable you want to use, and then you have to follow it with the word in, and then you can give the list of files or the list of items that you want to work upon, and after that it should be followed by the keyword do, and you can give a bunch of command list, I mean whatever command followed by the list, I mean or the variable name, and then finally you have to end it with done. Okay. So, now what we will do is we will try to take an example and then see how this construct is generated. So, here is an example that we have. So, we have for, we know that is the keyword, and then file is a variable, and then in, okay, and if you remember star dot text means any file that ends with txt as the last three characters, and then what we do is we move the file with the minus v option. Minus v option tells you that you have to move in a verbose mode, which tells you that whenever you execute the command you just say what you are doing, and finally it closes with a done. Now, what this statement actually will do is it will take all the files that end in star dot txt and then convert them as star dot txt dot old. Now, let us see this with an example. Let us take a look at the file called backup dot sh. So, we have this file called backup dot sh. Okay. What we do is in this file, if you look at this, we have this line number 9, we have for file, okay, in dollar and then star. So, I hope you remember in from your previous classes that dollar star brings all the arguments that are passed to this program. So, in the form of a list it brings all the arguments here after the in, and essentially what happens is that, so this value of file, okay, this file variable takes one element of that list, and then if you see this command called cp, we know that it is the copy command. It converts this file from the current name to current name dot backup, and let us now, this is the core idea, core syntax, okay, and then finally we are closing this with done, and let us try to look at read this program completely. So, what happens in line number 1 is that we are invoking the bash shell, and then in line number 3 as usual we are actually checking whether this the number of parameters that you pass for this is correct. Okay. So, in this case I should have at least one argument that is passed to this function, and then what I do is, if I do not pass that one argument, it just says that usage is how to use this file, and then finally what I do is I initialize the variable of I to a value of 0, and essentially what I try to do is I try to keep track of how many files I am moving to backup. Okay. And after, I mean, of course, the sleep one tells you that after moving this you have to sleep for 1 second. Essentially the sleep command tells you that you have to wait. I mean, the reason why we are doing it, otherwise the program moves very fast and it is very difficult to observe what is happening. Therefore, what I do is I put this sleep command, and then the sync command tells you that you have to write it into the buffer. Whatever you do, you have to write it into the buffer, I mean you have to write it back to the disk. Okay. And then this, I think we know that we are trying to increase the value of I by 1. So, essentially what we will do is we will now try to run this command, and what we will do is, let us, if you look at this directory, okay, we have a lot of files, okay, the /.sh, and let us assume that I want to take a backup of all these files, just for, I mean, we are not just for ensuring that, okay, we do not lose these files. So, what I can do is, instead of saying that copy the function.sh to function.sh.back, what I will do is I will try to run this program. So, if you look at this program, so what we will do is we will run this backup.sh, and let me change the mode of this, okay, and then let me run this program. So, let me try to find out the usage by just typing this command. So, it says that you have to give the backup file list. So, as I told you, we can do backup.sh, then I can say start. So, let us assume for the time being you want to take all files that start with the E, and then you want to back them up. So, I am saying E star.sh. So, all the files that start with the E and that end with sh I want to back up. So, if you look at this, so this program says that it is backing up example1.sh, it is backing up example2.sh, and it has backed up 4 files. Okay. So, ls minus l example star dot sh, okay, we have these 4 files, and then let us say we have dot back, let us see E star. So, if you look at this, for each of the file you have a backup. So, in this case we have what, let us see how this program works. So, we know that sh minus x will let you show you how the program will work. So, what we will do is we will take the backup.sh file, and then we will put the minus x option, and then let us see how this program works. So, we will add the minus x option. So, if you add the minus x option, it is going to tell you how the program can work. Okay. So, what we will do is we will just run the backup.sh with the same way as we ran it last time. So, backup.sh e.sh. So, if you look at this, so let the program run, and then we will get the explanation of how this works. So, let us take this example. Okay. So, we are coming to backing up example3.sh. So, in this case the statement I is equal to 2, okay, and then what we do is for file in $star. So, if it tries to, so the example will list out. So, in this $star will list out all the files, that is example1.sh, example2.sh, example3.sh, and example4.sh. So, in this third loop, since we are counted I is equal to 2. So, I is equal to starts with 0, I is equal to 1, and I is equal to 2. So, this is the third time it is executing, therefore, it is taking up this file called example3.sh, and it tries to back it up. So, if you look at the for loop, it just says for file in $star. So, this $star now gives example3.sh, then after that it backs up, and then it is sleeping for a second, and then it is syncing up, okay, and then finally it is incrementing value of I, and then finally it again goes to file number 4, which is example4.sh, and once example4.sh, which is the last element in the list, once that comes through, then this program ends and prints the message that backup completed for 4 files. So, in this file test.sh, so what happens if I replace this by $star? Okay. So, that was exactly what the for loop was doing, right. Now, what could happen is if you replace it by $star, this will have a full list of files. So, it could lead to a syntax error. So, let us try to do this. Okay, I have put a $star and then trying to execute this program file test.sh. Now, if you look at this, okay, I have to give a file name. So, let us say e star.sh. Now, if you look at this, there are too many arguments. So, this error occurs because if you look at this file test.sh, this $star gets a list because I put $star, then it gives all the files example 1, example 2, example 3 and example 4, and if you know in this condition you should give only a file name, therefore, it has a list of files, therefore, it gives an error. So, what we should do is this whole code we could change it by putting a for loop, and if you want to give a bunch of files, say for example, if your usage is something like this file names, instead of file name let us say I want to give a file names, okay, then what you could do is you could use the for loop that we had shown in the previous example, and using this for loop you could have printed the values of each one of the files. So, this is one of the use of the for loop. Now, we will take a very slight deviation and look at a bash shell variant of a for loop. So, essentially what happens is that if this is just to satisfy the curiosity of people who had already knows programming using C programming language. So, what we will try to do is we will try to see one more variant of bash shell, okay, where this for loop, see until now we have been using the for loop for doing the file operation. So, if you look at you have to take a list of files and then the file formed a list. Now, is there any variation in bash shell for having a C like structure for repetition? So, essentially we are talking about loop control, and if people who are familiar with C programming language will know that in bash shell we have a command similar to the C programming's for loop. So, here is this command, okay, where we try to have the for loop like this. So, if you look at the syntax of this, it says 2 braces, okay, 2 curve braces, and then inside that I give I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus, which is in the same form of C. And if you look at this program, okay, this works only with the bash shell, because if I give sh, okay, let us try to execute this program with sh, what happens is that it gives a syntax error, okay. So, whereas if I go and execute this program with a bash shell, so if you execute this program with the bash shell, then let us see what happens. So, now it prints the shell. So, this is one of the things that I wanted to tell you, that this course you will look at both shell and bash shell, and these are some kind of minor variations that are found in bash shell. Okay. So, most of the programs that we run in the course will work with shell and bash both, but then there are examples like this where you will have to use bash shell specifically. So, let us take a look at the syntax of this loop control statement. Okay. So, this is similar to C programming loop. So, you have to give the initial condition. The initial condition is I is equal to 1, and then the termination condition is I is less than or equal to 10, okay, and then the increment value is I plus plus. So, similarly, so you can also see that we are having a loop within a loop, and this is also allowed. So, just like if statement, and within the if statement you can have an if statement, or within a else statement you can have an if statement that we saw earlier. Within a for loop you can have one more for loop here. No, and if you look at this, so in this case we are using a tab to print the tables, okay, and this is one more variation. Of course, we will not use this variation in any of our exercises, but I just wanted to show you that loop control is not only applicable essentially for text files, it is also applicable for this kind of numeric calculations. So, other than that, there is not of much importance to this, but the idea is to show you that there are two variants of for loop in the bash shell. The first variant talks about the files and the strings, and the second variable talks about how to do these kind of array kind of operations or C programming like structure for the for loop. Now, so we will move on. So, other than this for loop, is there any other structure, okay, for loop control? Yes, okay. The shell also allows you to have a while construct, okay. It is unlike the for in do construct, okay. It checks for the true or false value of the condition before proceeding, and the form of while loop is something like this: while, and then it asks you for a condition, and then you do bunch of commands, and then finally you do it with a done statement. So, let us try to take a look at an example and see how a while do done works. So, let us take this program. So, in this program, what we do is, the most important is line number 11. So, in this program we try to find out whether the given number is greater than 0. So, if the given number, so if this condition, that is number greater than 0 becomes true, okay, then it goes inside the loop, okay, and then executes whatever you want to execute, okay, and if this condition is false, actually the loop exits. So, if you look at this condition, so let us say what this, let us now try to identify. Now, having understood that this while loop goes inside if this condition is true, and then gets out of this if the condition is false, let us see what this program does. So, we know that $1 is the first parameter that you are going to take for the argument of the program, the first argument of the program, and that is being assigned to a number, and then while that number is greater than 0, we go on just printing that number and then reducing the number by 1. So, essentially what happens is, it acts like a counter that is always decrementing. So, let us see how to run this program. Okay, we will change the execution mode, and after this we will just run this program. So, as I told you, it tells you how to use this. So, I have to give an integer number. So, let me say I give an integer of 10. So, this starts counting, and finally when it reaches, so if you look at the condition was that. So, let us look at the condition for this program. So, if you look at the condition, so condition was, if the number is greater than 0, then go on counting, if the number is equal to 0, then it will exit. So, as you can see in this program, it counts up to 1, and after this 1 it exits the loop. Therefore, this kind of while loop can be used while you want to find out, before executing the loop, you want to find out whether some condition is true or not. I mean, if the condition is false, then you can exit from the loop, whereas in the for statement it will actually go into the condition, and then it will initialize the value, and then after that it checks for the condition. So, in this case the while loop, essentially this difference between while and for loop, I mean for loop is usually you use it for kind of operating on files and things like that, whereas this while loop you can use it for numbers, but there is no such strict rule. As long as the input condition is boolean, you can operate on any of these loops, either the for loop or the while loop. This shell programming also provides you a third mechanism for loop control. Okay, this is known as the until construct. The until construct works in precisely the same manner, with the one exception that it repeats a series of command until a condition is met. So, the idea behind this is that let us try to look at the syntax, and then we will go to the condition and an explanation of this. So, it looks similar to the while loop. So, if you look at the previous slide, we had while condition do commands and then done, and in this case you have until condition do commands. So, in this case let us see whether the I mean if you can meet this particular condition, okay, the loop will not exist. So, let us take a look at this, okay, and then we will look at the explanation. So, in this case, for example, it is similar to the previous program, it is same counting number, but look at the logic. So, in the previous case what we found out was this number should be greater than, as long as the number is greater than 0, you said go into the loop. Okay. So, in this case what we are saying is until the number, so if the number is equal to 0, okay, then go ahead and exit, that is what it says. So, if you look at this, if the number is not equal to 0, okay, this loop will go on executing. Okay. So, while the until the number is equal to 0, okay, until the number is equal to 0, go on executing the loop. If the number becomes 0, then exit. In the previous case, if you remember, what we had done was, if you look at the while statement, if the number is greater than 0, that is the condition that we had put. So, actually this condition will become true if the number is greater than 0. Now, in the until example, this condition, if the loop is executing, then hopefully the loop is executing, the condition actually will become false, and once this condition becomes true, then the loop will get out, of this. Okay. So, if you look at this, you can consider this as the inverse of the while loop or whatever it is. Okay. So, this program also does the same thing. So, if you give until.sh, okay, then it counts from 10 to 0. So, I just wanted to show you that in shell programming there are many ways of getting a work done. Okay. It is not just one program will work correctly. So, it all depends on how you input your creativity and write the code. So, we will see more such examples. As we finish some 2 or 3 sections, we will see some examples where it gets more and more complicated, but at least for the time being, I hope you understand that you can have for the loop control can be 3 mechanisms. Okay. One, you can use the for, other you can use the while, other you can do until. Okay. And the logic for while and until is more the inverse of each other. Okay. Whereas for the for loop, okay, you can have 2 variants. The one variant looks at the string part of it, the other variant looks similar to the C programming language part of it, where you have the initial condition, you have the final condition, and you have the increment that happens. So, if you want, you can use any of these techniques. For example, you can take as an exercise, try to see whether you can print the same numbers, reverse printing of the reverse numbers using the for loop. Thank you.